allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Minutes of agenda.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of the agenda as presented.
I'll second it. Motion by Terry, second by Bill to approve the minutes of agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
You reached Scott Minders, County Engineer.
This is Becky.
Hi, Becky. It's Terry. Is Scott in the office this morning? Is he on his way up? Or?
Yep. You ready for him?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll let him know. Thanks.
You'll have to send it to her.
Okay.
You seem to be having problems with
It yours doesn't go good enough for you?
it. No, I got found it. For some reason it says I'm unable to sign into it.
It expired on your password.
I've been looking at those thinking I might like those too.
It says it wants me to tell you.
That's what I'm gonna have to have all the time too. So not terrible.
It is.
That Dr. John last night. He zapped it. Isn't that hurt? But it feels good.
Okay.
After. Thank you, Terry. Thanks for trying, Bill.
Good.
Had one this morning, John Rosen at 3M, wondering if I had another email account. I was trying to send him a link. I don't think so. He said, what email account? He said, well, it was Teeter, but it was like gobbledygook. So he figured it was phishing email.
It's the 23rd and 6th, it's just the one ordinance, but it's the same. It'll say the 23rd and the 24th. Thank you. That's fine.
Morning.
Morning. Well, except for the agenda item, I don't have anything to discuss today. So you guys have something?
Guys got anything?
I didn't have any questions on it.
Okay, then we will move on to consider approving equipment purchase for the secondary road department.
Yeah. So this item is back from last week, as we had to fill in a couple of gaps in the information we had at the time. Just to rebrief you, we have planned to purchase a new mower tractor from Marty Williams in Buffalo Center to replace a tractor that has had some major transmission troubles. So to fill the gaps, we did a little bit of looking into some of the concerns brought up last week. I think maybe I'll start out by saying I worked with Carla a little bit, and I worked with Julie a little bit on some of the finances of the county in general that are a little bit beyond where I'm normally involved, but I wanted to see some behavior to address some of the questions. So maybe where I'll start is in the last couple of years we've seen general fund budgeted expenditures. They've been higher than the budgeted revenues, and in the last couple of years the actual revenues have not been able to cover the actual expenditures, right? So we've seen the general fund balance decrease substantially over the last few years. In the meantime, we have seen our main account, the county's main account, which has general fund, rural basic fund, secondary road fund, and a handful of other funds. We've seen that account balance, just looking at the January balances, stay pretty consistent and even grow slightly from 2015 to 2018. Now, of course, that account goes up and down substantially throughout the year, and I would have liked to have seen more month-to-month behavior of that, but we haven't got that information yet. But just looking at January balances, in 2015 it was about 3.2 million. In 2018, about 4.3 million. So, while that doesn't tell the whole story, it does tell us that that is not alarming in itself, because it's comparable to prior years. So what I draw from this is that, if we focus on improving general fund budgeted numbers so that that is a balanced budget going forward, that should solve itself for the general fund. As Carla has projected, the general fund this year is expected to have positive balance based on some of the adjustments that she's made. The other funds, rural basic and secondary road fund, that we're more involved in, have strong balances. Over the last 4 years, the secondary road fund balance has increased by about 100,000, and it is projected to have about $500,000 ending fund balance this year. So with our budget in good shape and our cash flow in good shape, and also when we expand to the county's main account, that appears to be in consistent with prior years. We're finding that we think a purchase made at this time would be the most effective, most economical for our department, and without any other reasons to wait, I would recommend that we move forward with it. I guess I'll take any questions you have.
Did you check the lease purchase at all?
Yeah, that is an option. 3.75%, you can go as little basically, or, meaning months, or up to 3 years. Just on the tractor, not the equipment, just the tractor.
In response to the general fund, going from 3.9 to 4, roughly, it doesn't matter, 4 point something. The sheriff's department is going to eat up probably $550 of that. new operations budget. And unfortunately, the repairs to the courthouse is, we did fund more, 325 or 350.
312.
So about 400,000. So, yeah, our general fund balance has gone up, but it's gonna get eaten up pretty quick. That's my response to that. You're not gonna use this probably till next summer, right?
This summer.
Yeah,
As you,
right, this
yeah.
summer.
Yep, as you remember, we got a lead time of about May. Yep. No, and just on your point, I see what you're saying about cash flow, general fund expenditure standpoint. I would expect to see probably similar trends in that main account from year to year, but I don't know that.
Keep doing this?
No.
I think you should.
Well, so Carla come up with some numbers for me, and this is general fund, budgeted actuals, revenues, and expenditures for the last 5 years. And basically what I did is I took that information and threw it into a bunch of charts that I thought told the story better than I could explain. So what I have here, I'm going to make copies for y'all, but what I have, and I'll just walk through the charts I showed. So in the first image, there's budgeted revenues and actual revenues. And as you can see, we have consistently spent more than we've collected more than we've budgeted to receive. So that's good conservative budgeting. And when you look at expenditures, the green and yellow, we have, for the last 5 years, spent less than our budgets. So that goes to kind of show the story about some of the department heads and what they've been saying about their budgets. And so if we're spending less than we budget and receiving more than we budget, we have to look at, well, how do our budgeted revenues versus our budgeted expenditures look? The blue and the yellow there. And you can see by those red bars, that is the deficit in the actual budget. So that shows how unbalanced budgets have been. But I can understand, in the secondary road fund budget, sometimes we include a beginning balance in our budget so that we have a strong reserve but not excessive. So I thought, well, let's look at actuals. And as you can see in the next chart, the green and the blue there, that in 2013 and 14, our expenses were less than our revenues. And since then, they've started to trend the opposite way, having expenditures larger than revenues. And that's why the deficit has led to general fund balance like we'd expect. It was around $1.5 million in 2013 and has declined since then to today's levels in the 150,000 range.
You want to compare these two charts? The revenues. You take a look at 2017, and in the first chart you got it at 3 point whatever. Looks like about 3.3. And on this chart you have the revenues at 2.75. What's the discrepancy?
It's a good catch. Well, it is. So you want to compare?
Well, it looks like it
So
looks like they're all the same. Well, no, they're not. 2014 is different too.
So I'll just go back to the spreadsheet that Carl gave me here. Budgeted expenditures and revenues. So So in 2013, budgeted expenditures were about 400,000 higher than revenues. Following year, about 400. Following year, about 600. The following year, almost $1 million.
The only year that is the same as 2013, as I'm saying, they're all different. Except for that one.
I guess I look at what the spreadsheet did with that.
And they don't match up with the bottom one either. In the green there, the actual revenue and actual expenditures. So something's amiss here.
The scale of the chart is different.
Well, the numbers, the scale might be different, but the numbers don't add up. You're still.
So in this chart, there is 2 dashes for $1 million because it rounded a $500,000 up to $1 million in the spreadsheet. So if you look at the top, there's dash for $2 million, another dash for $2 million.
What year are you looking at?
So in the scale on the left side where it shows 0, 1 million, 1 million, 2 million, 2 million, I guess it rounded the $1.5 million up to 2, so it looks funny. But this one is just squashed a little bit. So if you look at the top here, 3 million, 3 million, 3 million, 3 million. They do match.
2017 shows about I'm going to guess 2.8 million in budget revenue, and on this chart here it shows I'm going to guess 3.3.
No, see, the first 3 million is only 2.5 million that it rounded up. It's clumsy chart making on my part. You see, it says 2 million, 2 million. It lists it twice.
Yep.
This one is 1.5 million rounded up to 2. It's bad chart making on my account,
Okay,
but it
so
still
1.5
has
to should be
2.5, 3. Yeah, there you go. That's what the explanation is. It's again, I hadn't
That's fine.
planned to put it on your desk today, so that's why they're not perfect. But the numbers do match the numbers Carla gave me, so. So I was in the middle of this.
But let's back up.
Okay.
Just so it should go from 0 to 500,000.
Right. Those are in increments of 500,000. So it rounded all the $500,000 increments up.
All right.
Yeah. So the chart with the yellow and light blue, looking at the red bars as shortfall in those budgets.
Okay.
And the next one, as I said, maybe you count for the ending fund balances or unspent balances, but the actual revenue to expenditure comparison shows that the last couple of years have had some shortfalls in 16 and 17.
Some of the courthouse repairs we paid were not budgeted, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not much. I mean, like this year it was like 12,000. That was not budgeted.
Past years.
I don't think we ever went over budget in the past years.
We've never gone over budget for that year, except this year was 13,
Increased
14.
budget, but we've never gone over budget.
Correct.
So the next chart on here shows what the fund balance has done, the black line there, and you can see it's gone from 1.5 million to about 100,000 in that chart. So think the recommendation out of the figures would be that we need to have balanced general fund budgets, and that should stabilize that account, essentially. If you have a general fund that, the people are given their budgets and spend less than their budgets, and if the budget is balanced, then it should take care of that fund. I guess what I'm saying is when the main account balance is steady while the general fund has gone down, that means the other funds are strong. They have at least sufficient balances at the end of the year. And in the case of the secondary road fund, which I'm most familiar with, it has grown. So what we can't help, as a department, is to improve the general fund balance. Since last year and this year, we haven't received any general fund transfers. So our tractor purchase or any of our operating expenses in general do not affect the general fund. And so it's not something we can help. When we lump those funds all together, rural basic fund, secondary road fund, all those into the main account, of course we do have an impact on that. But based on the information I'm given, we don't have a more alarmingly low balance this year than we've had in the past.
You concur with that?
I do. When we look back to 2015, all the way up to 18, our balance as of January was right at that same. But like I said, we don't know what's coming into play either. This money has to carry us through.
Pointing out too that of course our secondary road fund is about 2/3 from road use tax and only 1/3 from local taxes. So, that's like other funds that have other revenues coming in all the time.
Questions?
I guess if you're confident you can make it through the rest of the year and into the next tax period.
I take it that it worked.
Like I told Scott, I worry about that fund balance all the time, the
Right.
bank balance all the time.
It truly does take departments working together to combine the information that each one of them looks at to come up with a full picture, and we'll continue to refine that and work together.
Did you, Carla, figure out the expenditures and the revenues to the end of June 30? What was our remaining balance there?
It's all here. I mean, and I've given you the spreadsheets that I projected that's my input.
And the dollars are always tight, from May to August until September taxes come in.
What are we going on that?
250.
We're continuing to work too on, making sure that everybody understands which funds come in and out of that main account, and having projections for each of those funds added up, make a good projection for that fund. So continue to improve on that.
Ready to vote? You got more questions?
Well, I can see the challenge with this piece of equipment, being the lemon it's always been and costing us money. I just have challenges with affording it right now.
Did you bid on any other brands?
I tried to get some quotes this week on 2 other packages, if you will. And the one salesman was sick and the other one went on vacation. but I did get trade values from them on our current tractor as if it were rebuilt and in good working condition. And those values came back almost identical. One was the same as Ernie Williams is giving, including the repair, so 40,000. And the other one came back 35. And I did a fast line, it's an appraisal, online appraisal system. And that came back at an average retail of 44 something.
And that was trading for a what?
In one case, it's for a deer identical to that one. In the other case, it'd be an AGCO or a cat.
Are they giving government discount or just dealer discount?
It's a state net bid. On the deer. And also on the diamond equipment.
No questions I have.
Any questions? Well, we're gonna get hit on our budget this year anyway. There's only one remedy for it. I'll take the heat. I'll make a motion to approve the secondary roads department to purchase the equipment.
I'll second the motion.
Motion by Mike, seconded by Terry to approve the equipment purchase for secondary road department. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nay.
Is there duplicate copies of the resolution? If you and Carla could sign them both, please.
Hope we have a good banker.
Well, and I would hope that if the funds are tight going forward, that you would look at some other things like rock purchases or something like that, that you maybe back off. I don't know how that works into your budget.
We, when it comes to June time and we're hauling rock, we're always kind of conscious with Julie and Carl about the budgets and the cash flow to see where we can, delay a payment or two, but.
Our suppliers are really good to work with us that way too, based on.
It's not just after the July 1st, it's after we get more tax revenue.
Right, so, yeah, some of those things like box culverts and whatever, we can look into that as well.
All right.
Okay. Chris.
Scott, will you need a copy of that one?
Copy of,
Your resolution?
I suppose one of them is for you.
This is Chris.
Yeah, we're ready for you.
Okay, thank you.
I'd like to table number 5 myself, till we get a good look at the budget. Okay, you guys. So,
Good morning.
Morning.
I only have one thing for, on 2-3, Bill Tweeden, on 400th Street. 400, double check. Yeah, 400. You know the old Whitney Hansen farm, by any chance? That's before your time. That was when I was a little kid, so. Just a half mile west of R-74 on the curve there. Jim Ray.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. There's 2 outlets that weren't replaced.
Okay, we'll bring that up at the final hearing then
Yeah,
today.
okay.
That was on bills or
Yeah.
on that forward?
The, right here, that little spur coming down from,
Was that lap 5?
here's the
on
highway.
On lat 5 then.
Okay.
It says lat, no, it's open ditch.
Right, but it's a lateral.
Yeah, 4 it says here.
Oh, lap 4. I thought lap 4 went the other way. Okay, so we'll talk about that with Andy and have them go back out.
Yeah. And I believe he's marked them. I had told him to. So.
Oh, good, good, that helps. I just got the notice to proceed for DD1 lap 4 from Jacobson Westergaard. Since we've already approved it, I didn't think it needed to be on the agenda. Oh, that's okay. It's just the notice to proceed for the contract that we awarded. And then one lap 4. Other than that, I don't have anything new today.
Okay. Open forum. Oh, sorry. Well, let's skip over 6. We can do that at the end. Is that okay?
It's fine. The rest of it's dying to.
Management stuff, if we take a look. He's gonna get stamped from last week. Signed from last week.
I understand that we're not facing any better.
You want to let us know when you go back to 5 and 6?
So we have to finalize the budget on the 6th, which means either we have to talk budget today or you guys are gonna have to come in more this week. Because I have to have time to change everything.
No, I just wanted to make a couple statements before we went to, about the budget before we went to. So,
Okay. Because next week you have to
yep.
set the public hearing.
part of the winter management done this.
Part of their management's in Winnebago County.
We're part of it, is in ours.
Usually what those are. Typically Crystal County.
What time is Sue's meeting today? Is that at 11?
11:30 usually.
Same thing.
Thank you.
I guess we'll move that to 6. What did they do yesterday? Oh, the last thing I saw on there was 3.5 for the supervisors. You got it there.
Attorney 0.
Until we find out what kind of experience we're getting under the new attorney. Or 0 for now.
Well,
Start the new one
0
out
till
of that.
next year.
Yeah, start the attorney. And
Years old, right?
No, we left to come to the one with us.
We left, the only thing they had left to vote on when we left was the attorney one. I didn't know they reduced that to 0.
What were they given for the rationalization for this kind of increase?
Just we had a comparison to all the other counties around and all that, and what their pay is. 2/3 of all counties are basically pay more than all of our salaries are under 2/3 of it, our average or whatever. And one of the rationalizations was that people, just because the county's budget is tight, doesn't mean that people aren't performing, that we don't have good people in our offices and stuff like that.
I don't think anybody made a specific request today.
The only thing that I told them is that everybody has 2% at this point budgeted in their budget. That's what I,
And then they pointed out that the actual wage increase is less than 1% of the total county's budget.
So are we talking 5 or 6 right now?
6.
When it comes to that tractor, it's not that dire. That's why,
I'll just run over there quick.
That-
It's easier.
because if they repair it, instead of getting 5,000 in trade-in, they're gonna get 40,000 for trade-in. I mean, you could put this purchase off without hurting yourself as far as I'm concerned.
And the only reason I said go ahead with it is, face it, our levies are going up.
Well, no, yeah, there's good, that's fine.
What difference does it make
No,
now?
we can't raise the levy
It was the
this
minutes.
current year. Yeah, it's coming out of this year. We can raise it for next year.
Right.
And I guess
Just
they
look at it when
were
it's
gonna try and pay him for it.
Yeah.
Maybe you did before then.
I believe so.
Under lease?
Well, it was talked about.
They said in May.
They were gonna try and see if it was okay if we could pay for it, either in July or whatever.
Well, that'd be more.
If that's the case, then we gotta change your budget for next year.
Yeah. Well, and
They look at several options.
You get all through it.
Did you call Julie?
Oh, you did, okay. So we're on number 6.
Yeah, I think we should just talk about the impact of raises as to what's going on with our budget, and maybe not necessarily even this year's budget. Just the long-term effect of continuing with the raises we get. So,
the total of the raises, if I remember right, was less than this tractor.
and you're comparing that house.
It's just, it's not that huge a part of the budget or something.
And one of the compensation board members said they'd rather see raises than a new vehicle or truck.
Well, he said pickup, which.
Yeah.
Most of them agree they take the heat on this.
But they don't, so.
Yeah.
And if you can't take the heat as a supervisor, and I'm speaking to myself too, to discuss this, then we really don't have any business being a supervisor, so.
They deflect a little of the heat, I suppose, because you could say, well, this is what some tax-paid citizens recommended, but ultimately it falls flat. So
Well, I'll say right now, I don't go along with what's recommended. Tell you that right now.
I'm more of a merit-based guy in a sense as far as the raises go, rather than just always get one just because. But,
And when
do our county employees deserve a raise merit-based wise?
Well, that's always been the issue with me anyway, because to me, there is no quantitative way you can measure that. Yes, things,
You talk to other counties around and they all like the atmosphere of the offices here compared to other counties that they've dealt with. And so that tells me that we've got people that are, for whatever reason, more civil or do their jobs better or whatever it is. It's more of a consumer-friendly atmosphere here than there is in other areas, I guess.
well, I think if things continue to go on as the status quo, what you're gonna see is people finally getting fed up and looking towards consolidation of offices, eventually consolidation of courthouses. And, because I'll agree with this, I for one don't think that we can continue on the spending track that we're on. And continue to, for one, provide the services. We've either got to get more efficient, and that means some frank discussions like this courthouse. This is a money pit. It's going to continue to be a money pit. And just different things. And secondary road. I think everybody here knows how I have butted heads with the secondary road. So this isn't me sticking up for the secondary road just to make some political points, but I think they do a pretty good job. I really do.
They do. I've talked to people in counties all the way around, and then they get to, you go right now, as soon as you hit the Minnesota border, you go from a clear blacktop to Blair Ice. But if we're gonna start making frank discussions, we're gonna have to start cutting back on that to where people aren't gonna notice the difference. We'll have to eliminate people, go to where it's gonna take maybe 2 days, to get the roads cleared after a blizzard instead of one. That's that's about the only way we can start cutting personnel, in a sense.
And all the people I've talked to, they're all proud of the way our road workers get the job done.
For the most part.
Yeah, for the most part. There are times, we've had challenges in the spring and whatnot, but when it comes to snow removal and most of our roads, they're pretty happy with them. And I've asked them, so do you think we can cut back on any of that? Is it too much? Well, they didn't want to give back anything.
I mean, here at the county level, the only thing you can do to the public is cut services in order to cut money, because there really isn't a lot of inefficiencies, I don't think. It's not like we're giving $400 million to Iran just by the piece. We don't spend our money that way. All of our money goes in services and people who provide the services. So therefore, the only way to really cut the county budget in order to keep people happy that the taxes, try and keep taxes down, is to cut services. And most of the people that I have talked to do not want to have most of the services cut. Now, does that mean they're still elated about paying taxes? No, nobody is, neither am I. There's just not a lot of government waste at the county level that I've noticed.
How do we want to look at the recycling? We're paying more and more every year. We were getting revenue to help pay for it through tipping fees. Now that contract is ended. Is that an essential service that the rural and small town people should be for?
Well, if you look at it from a conglomerate of the whole county, I mean, I look at just the plastic waste that we throw away, and I don't have figures to back this up. I've just read on figures on everything. Recycling does not pay financially, and maybe it does environmentally. I don't know. They say that it doesn't there either. But in the
There is a group out there that says no, and there is some information out there that says yes. I think we need to completely trash our valley. So, that's what the Indians used to do. They used to trash a valley and they move on. But there isn't a lot of places to move on to anymore.
I don't think they're going to trash their own acreages. That's,
Yeah, they're going to find a place to put it. We'll either start burning it again or whatever.
I guess I would lean towards getting away from it.
Very interested in looking at an alternative.
Oh, absolutely.
Cost
Yeah.
effective.
Yeah.
Are we going to have to leave it in the budget for this year as it was, just to have that opportunity to look into that without signing a contract with Waste Management?
Well, if we're going to leave it in the budget,
I mean, we got to plan for something.
Go better together with other counties.
We've got 3 other counties that are interested in maybe talking.
if we're going to leave it in the budget, is the same value, then what's the use of going away from Waste Management? Just what happened.
The first year may have some startup costs.
You're saying that it would be,
Over the years, hopefully less. And that's yet to be proven too.
Because in talking to 3 other counties, none of them are happy with that. And Winnebago has worked with the city of Decorah, have been successful with their marketing their product.
leave it in the budget, all we can do is have a better balance of years.
We need to start that conversation with the other counties.
Any other concerns about the budget? We'll move on to 5. This, I guess. All right, I'll take recommendations. I don't necessarily look at, I do, but I hold private sector just as much as public sector, is the way from forming my opinion. And I believe our raises should be 1.5. I'm giving my opinion right away.
When you say ours, across the board, or?
Across the board. I think we should go to 0 supervisors, just for, an example.
Have we made the indication that we want to see a 0 increase in our budgets?
That's about what the rate of inflation was last year, is it? 1.5?
I didn't even look.
I think it was around 2.
Oh, no, yeah, it was 2 or 2.3 or something.
I was looking at, we've already put in the numbers, 20% of the budget. I'd be willing to go with that.
What was that?
Give or take 2%. Basically, it'd be, sheriff's is higher, but what were those numbers?
Well, yeah, that sheriff's was 4%, right? Was it? On the merit, I think the raises you probably deserve. Yeah, I mean, I'm not talking about us. As the budget goes, it doesn't seem like a great time to have raises.
I don't think we should look at it just because we're in a squeeze right now. That's not how I'm looking at it.
Well, you kind of gotta, I mean, so then you go back to the merit base, and if you look at other counties and what they've done, what they've recommended there is not a lot. What did you guys go for raises for? Did your comp board meet already?
Yeah, they did.
No, you go ahead.
No,
I didn't
no,
know you said mine.
no, I said it.
No, go ahead.
We decided, what were we at, 3.9?
I think so.
About 3.9 is what they recommended.
Worth County did, I think, 3%, except for either the county attorney or sheriff, who did 4 for them.
So it's pretty much in line with.
I think it was the sheriff. They did the sheriff at 4 and everybody else at 3.
And as far as those numbers go there, if we were to go with that, the changes I would make on that would be put the sheriff down to 3 and ours down to 3. So everybody's.
But you can't do that. You have to decrease them in an equal.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
If you decrease one, you got to decrease all of them.
They have to be equal percentage
Except
increase.
for us, we can increase more.
Well, not that I need to be part of your discussion, but, it doesn't have to be percentages either, right? You can do it by dollars, because isn't that how we've done it in the past too, Ann? Where we've given.
Is that through the recommendation or through our action?
We have to go percentage wise.
You do
Yeah,
percentage.
we did with secondary roads.
We went through this first year Adam was here.
Okay.
That was a different thing.
Because I remember last year we gave a percentage and then varying dollar amounts.
But that would have been from the comp board.
Yeah.
It's the comp board that can do the
Yeah.
dollar.
And I guess I sat in on that, and so we was worried about that.
Well, I entertain anything, you know where I stand.
Where do you stand? That we can do within the
I'm
code.
waffling on the fence. I mean, if you go on a merit based, I think the raises there aren't a lot. And I can use the raise as much as anybody, but if the supervisor went to zero, it wouldn't bother me either. So I don't know if you can hold the rest of them responsible for where we're at.
I'm coming from a different angle, what I believe a raise should be, so.
What do you believe it really should be?
I do put more weight on the private sector. And I just know that, well, I know what we pay our secretary, that does equivalent work, and has knowledge-wise, and have talked with some others, even in bigger cities like Ames even. There's a few people down there. And, raises are anywhere from none, to just a little under 2%. Nobody got 2 or better in the private sector that I talked with.
No, I've talked to a few people that basically just want the cost of living.
Chris, what did Jim just go back say yesterday about the raises in the comp board and all that stuff?
You mean as far as them lowering it?
Yeah.
He was really disappointed that they do a lot of work coming to these amounts. And, you know, the meeting went for 2.5 hours, and last year he was disappointed because it was lowered by the supervisors. And he just felt like, why are they there then? Why do they come up with these amounts if they're gonna be lowered? And
I think I'm sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, and he also said, you know, this is less than 1% of the county budget, the total amount of all these raises. And he didn't think it was a very large amount at all, so. And he had talked with a lot of people.
And being there listening to them yesterday and all the information they had and we looked through, I can't say that I disagree with them as far as their recommendations. I'm sure there's a lot of private sector people out there that have got somewhat of a raise too. It's just, we haven't talked to them. It's, you know, I don't know what the percentage raise is every year, like, you know, like Winnebago or, you know, what do they do? Do they just go cost of living or do they, anybody have any idea? So,
You want to table this vote? Step block.
that one, so
Or you want to just
wait till later.
You want to, it sounds like,
We're still all over the place.
okay, let's table it till we're done with
We'll
our.
let you know when we come back to it.
motion to open the public hearing for DD 54, 52, lat 17, lat 6.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Terry, second by Sis, to open the final public hearing for DD 54, da-da-da. Comments?
I don't know that we've heard anything in our county per se. So that's good. Compared to some of our drainage out there.
I think we did a good job. Looks well, it's done properly, and. Good. Don't wanna cut anybody off, so anybody's got a comment. Here comes all the comments.
There it is.
Paul, Mike, you got anything you want? All right, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
I can make the motion to close the public
I'll
hearing.
second.
No, we don't want to. What did you?
Do we need to do like the report, the payment, the,
Those would be after the public hearing.
oh, okay, sorry.
Sure.
I'll second it. Motion by Sis, seconded by Bill to close the public hearing for the DD 54, 52, 17, lat 6. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Very good. Consider approval, statement of completion for DD 54, 52, 17, lat 6.
I think I left these earlier, but I brought some extras anyhow. These are statements of completion for this project. The project was essentially completed on December 29th of last year. Final construction cost is $119,163.28, just slightly below the original contract cost. That's my statement of completion, that everything's been done in accordance with plans and specs. And the contract completion date was December 31st last year.
Thank you.
State report. On the state report.
Well, not on the state report, but it's in our.
And if everything looks good on statement of completion and you guys want to move forward with approving the project, then you just have to go through that, and we need signatures on all three of these.
Are you guys okay with this?
Yeah, I think it looked, when I drive by it, it looks really good. Did a good job, Andy.
Thanks. Larson did pretty good.
It looks nice.
Yeah.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve the final statement of completion for DD 54, 52, 17, lat 6.
I can second that.
Okay. Motion approved. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right. Approved final pay estimate for DD 54, 52, 17, lat 6.
Yeah, the final pay estimate that I've got here is mostly a technicality. It's a $0 amount. With that last pay estimate that we processed here a couple weeks ago, that was the total contract cost to be paid to
Since you got
Larson.
that last.
Again, that was $0 amount for this pay estimate, but it is the final one, and we just waited to make sure there was no claims against Larson for anything, which we would have deducted out of the 10% retainage. Again, the 10% retainage, assuming everything is approved and everything to date, the 10% retainage would not be released sooner than 30 days after today. And that's just to make sure everything kind of
clears.
Okay.
Okay, take a motion to approve final pay estimate, 54-52-17.06. I'll make that motion.
That'll be okay. I can second the motion.
All right, motion by Mike, second by Sis, to approve the final pay estimate for 54-52-17.06. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion approved.
And we have to set for signature, and then that one, I can give them back to you in just a second.
Sounds good.
That's the last page for the pay estimate.
You need one of these, three of these?
Three of them.
Three of them?
Andy, need a date.
Oops, sorry.
It's okay.
Let me put it on there for you, Mike. Okay.
Do you want me to send that back with the final payment? Or is that yours? I can make a copy for you.
Forgot. Should we have opened the meeting for the joint? Keep
We
forgetting
did,
about that.
kind of.
Kind of public hearing.
The public
Yeah.
hearing.
You're fine.
Why not?
That's it for us?
I don't even know anything about coffee, don't
I know, we came all the way
I
up.
know the lunch, I
Wow.
want the free lunch.
Do we need another motion to adjourn now or no? Or since we adjourned the hearing?
We adjourned the
We
hearing.
already,
So you're good?
Yeah.
we already voted out of the public hearing.
You guys do things fast.
I don't think we're gonna get chastised,
All right, I'm stopping.
even if we are wrong.
I think since we had, nobody contesting it, we're fine.
All right, thanks, guys.
Yeah, you're fine.
I know.
I've been really short. Figure out a way to stay longer.
Keep it short.
Well, it's my pleasure. I had time to get up and do something. Andy's such long-winded. I'll try to keep it a little shorter the next one.
Could you?
Limit it to like
Mark,
5 minutes.
good. Look back now, I should show it.
There's one coming. Deidre's gonna call on the phone.
They have another crowd outside. They've been taking tickets.
And I understand 4 months, 4.5. So you guys will have to come up with 50 reasons, or whatever you can.
Yeah, 4 out of 5.
One reason I was
Stab myself, now let's get it over.
Especially after last night.
Not good.
Not pretty, bad officiating.
See you later.
Take care.
See ya.
Bye, Andy, thank you.
Just updates.
Get stuck in I'm ready.
What do you think?
What they wind up.
What do I think?
Enlighten us with your cranial cogitations.
I think Mike is way off base. I think you guys need to be giving 3% raises across the board. She needs a 6% increase. The work that she does, that's always been my opinion. So that's just my thought. Why not blow the budget? Let's see what happens.
We've already done that. To what extent do we want?
Well, what the hell? Do it again. It was so much fun. No, I'm with you on merit, and I also think that it should be a little bit higher. That's just me. You guys put enough pressure on yourselves throughout the course of the year, and she goes through hell. I've been on that side of the table before, only in a business, so I know what it's like. It's hell. So I get it. And honestly, if there are other counties out there that are paying higher, after a while, somebody's right.
Well, there's 1/3 that are paying the same or lower. What was it? It's been close to 60% of all the counties. I was trying to do the math in my head, looking at all
County.
that have parity between the elected offices. There were 3 counties that actually paid the auditor less. And then there was.
Their job description might be different.
Yeah, they may not include drainage or have no drainage or, I mean,
Does every auditor have to be in charge of the county?
Yes.
I didn't know, so the bigger counties had a different commission for that, or?
move it around for office to share the. Yeah. Your turn this year, your turn next year.
Worth County's on the phone.
So push the lighted button, or?
I'll show you. You just go here and there.
Oh, this is Winnebago Supervisors.
Hi, this is Deidre Harris from Worth County. I was just calling in to listen to the completion hearing.
All right, we're getting ready to go here.
Okay, thank you.
Who was coming from Worth County, did she know?
Was there somebody coming from Worth County?
I think, I don't know for sure. I talked or texted to Mark maybe, and he said one of them was coming, so.
Okay. We'll wait just a little bit then.
Okay, thank you.
Which one of their district is it? It's in Marks.
Yep,
Would make sense.
it really isn't much in there anyway.
Be nice to have one representation.
I would put their second on it or something.
Well, it is 10:15. Mark can get caught up. He can say his piece no matter whatever time it is. So, take a motion to open the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to open the final public hearing for DD 2-3.
I'll second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Public comments? I'll make a motion to close the public hearing for DD 2-3.
I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion to close final public hearing for DD 2-3. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. And now we will wait for Mark. Let's see if it's
Just curious.
Probably looking for
I'll take one.
Yeah.
Second.
Yeah, then I got it, just check.
Well, it was,
Or I'll take one.
Any of you guys got his number? Don't have his number?
almost the whole north end was open in the middle when I got here, but mentioned it's all closed up.
Oh, the parking lot here was full, and along the street down that way was full, and of course, the people in the apartments took this one. And most of the college kids have taken it that road right there.
The other day, I was getting ready to leave, and, it was last Thursday or whatever, and this college kid parks his car right next to me and puts his book bag on, and then I looked over at him, I says, you know this is a tow-away zone, don't you? No. Is it? I says, yeah, there's a nice big sign when you pull in right over there. You see that guy right over there by the garbage?
Deidre, do you have Mark's number?
I've got
Oh, you
it.
got it, okay.
He's more than waiting to give you. He's just waiting for you to walk across the street. And he's, is he really? I said, oh, he's rough. And then I told him, says, you hurry up. There was a parking spot open right out in the street, right in front of all.
Mark, where's Terry Derby? Get there. Hey, were you coming to that, hearing today at the courthouse? Are you, well, it was at 10:15. Oh, okay. So you're on your way here, huh? Okay, well,
Now we'll wait.
yeah, we'll wait. All right.
There's parking in Lot 6.
They thought it was 10:30. 5 miles out.
Well, it'll probably be 10 minutes to finish up our compensation talks.
You got to call everybody in.
Oh, you can't, because she's on the phone. Chris, will you go grab Chris, Colby, and ask her to call Julie?
To do what?
To come here.
The comp.
She was sick yesterday too, she doesn't look very good either.
No, she's in her ice, so they did.
No.
I don't know. I said it did. Maybe.
Yeah, the nursing home in Buffalo shut down. I couldn't even go out and get Jake Winter and take him to the basketball game.
Shut down.
Well, evidently, they don't want anybody in or anybody out. They don't want the flu in there, I guess. Or whether it is in there, maybe it is in there. I guess he never did say. He just said that they wouldn't let him out.
They say it's particularly nasty this year.
How much weight is she? It's a different strain, right?
Yeah, totally different strain. This, with the vaccination, isn't matching up at, and this stuff's rough. It
Well, it's a
causes,
deadlier strain, what I read.
Yeah,
Chest
it causes
congestion,
more
like-
like inflammation and therefore heart attacks or whatever. And people that are, blockage working, I guess.
the phlegm is just terrible. I mean,
You know,
if West Hancock's basketball coach can't go to work, so you know it's bad.
Gary, Ron, Dwayne, Marvin,
What was the last one?
Pedersen. They used to play basketball with us in, right?
Yeah,
Dwayne died at 59.
really? No kidding.
Working out. This will be a little.
I had my prom date my junior year. She was on her treadmill and fell over back here a couple of years ago.
All right, we'll open back up to, comp board recommendations.
So where are you at, Bill?
Well, I mean, after listening to it all yesterday and stuff, I mean, and we'll take making it look like we're voting ourselves a raise. I mean, I'm more than willing to drop the supervisors to 0. But, you know, if you look at the merits, I think the comp board is right. That the offices probably do deserve a raise for the work that they do.
And it may seem like every year they're voting a higher raise than what some people would think is deserved, but when you knock it down every year, it's gonna make it look like that too. I guess I'd support, but saving everybody's except ours, knock ours down.
Whatever you wanna knock it down to.
Well, I'm gonna defend it for, if that's the case, I'm gonna defend it for us too, in the sense
Oh,
that
it can be defended.
we get our heads beaten over on both sides.
At basketball games, standing in line at visitations for funeral.
Oh, my goodness.
That's kind of the point they made yesterday, that, you know, all the challenges we're going through in unfunded mandates and everything else.
But I can live with zero very easily, so. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to go with the comp board's recommendations.
I'll second it.
Okay. We have a motion by Bill, second by Terry to,
Well,
We can discuss though.
I'll wait till, for approval of the comp board recommendation.
Well,
Discussion?
were we gonna change the supervisors?
Well,
Or were we gonna leave that on the same?
I'm okay either way. I think I agree with Mike, you know, that we have, we're 81st in the state for salaries, total salaries.
If everyone's gonna get it, then everyone should get it then. I go with that, or I go with zero. And that's coming from someone who needs a raise as much as anybody does.
Done discussion?
Sure.
We have a motion on the floor to approve the comp board's recommendation, and we will go with across the board of supervisors 3.5, attorney 0, auditor 3%, recorder 3.22, sheriff 4, and treasurer 3.16. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Can I have that?
I was gonna say,
Oh, yeah, I haven't seen that. Okay, thank you.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
now you gotta change the budget. To reflect that.
I haven't heard any.
So are
I'll
we,
probably work on that this week and maybe try to guys on Friday or something when I get everything done.
schedule this?
How about Thursday?
I guess I'm okay either Thursday or Friday.
Okay.
Ours are scheduled.
I'll make work with whatever you.
Where
guys
would
can.
you at? Two,
I'll just, how about I just,
Fridays, hopefully Friday. I'll be gone Thursday.
okay. I'll,
But
I might be done Friday, that's what,
Oh.
I'm not sure.
I don't have to, I just want to give, as long as I get the state report, so I can take a look at that.
Yeah, I'll email everything out.
So everything would stay the same except for these changes we made.
Mhm.
You would just change the levies accordingly.
So that's what he said.
We do have to meet to approve that.
What's that?
We do have to meet to approve those.
The final budget. Well, and that can be done next week. We still have time next week, so.
So if there's not much to change, then
When I get it done, I'll email it out to you guys, and you can see,
if we think there's a concern there, we can.
let me know, and we'll go from there.
So just to let you guys know too, back to drainage, Noreen Heish, I sent her a letter. There was some, Larson Contracting had to go in and do some repairs to a little,
Swap in?
there.
Well, what we did, when Mark and I were out looking at things, when Larson was working on that lateral 4, we saw that somebody dug a trench to act as a surface drain through the ditch bank. So we went ahead, and as long as Larson was there, we told Larson to go ahead and put in a surface drain pipe and apron. And then the next one down the line, surface drain pipe down the line, probably 100 feet or 200 feet away, whatever. the end of it was smashed in, so we had Larson also repair that. And Larson didn't do the damages, so we figured we would just charge back to the landowner, which was Heesh. And so we had Larson submit a bill for that work, and then we gave it to Chris, and then Chris put.
So I sent a letter to Noreen with a copy of the bill,
How long ago?
just last, the 24th, whatever day that was. So,
We'll probably be hearing back.
so when you get that, that's,
I'll take care of it.
It's right across from John Johnson's hog building, right on the opposite side of the ditch.
It's a travesty. Practices.
Which side of the ditch?
The east side.
West side?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Branson, yeah.
Yeah. Just north of the blacktop.
What Branson was that? That's the old Branson farm. What was his first name?
Nels, maybe, or
Who?
was it Nels?
Yeah, I gotta find out. We've already gone through the public hearing. Perfect. You can make your comments anytime you want, so.
Merlin's coming, he's part.
Oh, he is, okay, all right.
Kick me out.
There wasn't a lot of weeping and gnashing of teeth from the public, so you're in good shape.
So we like it.
Thank you.
Sorry, we got the time wrong.
We haven't wasted our, we've been discussing things, so.
Good.
And I don't wanna see it ever happen again, because I have never done that.
Okay.
This week. Today. Baby.
Thank you. You must be bored today. Parking lot's full. Yeah.
Court going on
Magistrate court.
Yeah, Dave walked.
I was here.
Dave walked Whopper by here a little bit ago. Did you see that guy in the orange suit? There was a lot of orange there.
Really?
Dave was way down here and this guy was way up here. I don't know if that's, he had to go somewhere and pick one up.
Rockwell City.
Is that, yeah, it was Rockwell City, that's right.
Well, he's at Tennessee.
But,
A couple.
Yeah, that's it,
Weeks
yeah,
ago.
I remember that.
Dee Derry, you still there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, well, Merlin and Mark are here now, so we're gonna get done with this, so.
Okay, Merlin, we've already had the public hearing. There was nobody here for it.
Okay.
So we opened and closed it.
Did Mark tell you we were 2 hours early for the last one, so
Yeah.
we can all have 10 minutes late for this one?
You guys are still way in the good.
Remember
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I forgot about that, yeah.
All right, Andy.
Here's a certificate of completion.
Being fashionable today.
Yep, I got several. I got more on this one.
Thank you, Andy.
This project took a little longer than usual. The original completion date was December 31st of 2016. That was in the original contract with the main ditch being cleaned out, and they were substantially completed at that point with just some leveling to do and minor things like that. We did extend their completion date due to change orders for a couple extra laterals, lateral 2, lateral 4, lateral 5, needing to be cleaned out. And they got done with all this work on December 20th of 2017. prior to the extended completion date. Original construction cost estimate for this project, or the original contract, was $114,537.13. Due to the change orders and a few other extra items being added through quantities, final construction costs were $170,943.65. You have the completion statement of completion before you to discuss or act on accordingly.
They had the one comment on
That Bill Tweeden.
Bill Tweeden.
Yeah, just, show me here real quick.
Was it the other things?
No, just the two, there was two outlets that hadn't been put back in place here. Can't look upside down.
The very south end of Lat 4.
It was Lat 4. A couple tile outlets need to be repaired.
Yeah, it just, on this one right here.
Sure.
There's just a couple.
Okay.
Outlets that.
Okay,
He flagged them.
Yeah, he said he flagged them.
Okay. I think we could probably just do that outside this contract as a normal repair thing, if you guys are okay with that, just to
That's what I thought.
finish things up. Okay.
And he could still do the contract price for those?
I could check with Larson's, I'm assuming they would honor that.
They usually do.
I'll check with Jason on that.
If we're holding a check like this, they probably would.
All right. I'll take a motion to approve the statement of completion for DD 23.
I'll make that motion.
What do you guys want to second it, or the matter?
Sure. I'll second it. May I ask a question?
Yes.
So one of the things that we continually are doing in Worth County, was there any reclassification considered for this? Okay. So
We are.
We
doing
should
it,
have.
though.
Okay,
But we
because
did not.
pretty much any time we're opening up something for something like this, we're usually, because it's getting so inexpensive to do reclassifications, we've been trying to do reclassifications.
How much of yours been running?
We've had it down as low as $4 to $5 an acre.
We've had it as low as 2.
You had as low as 2? Okay.
But the last one, I think he indicated maybe 3 or 4.
Right.
Okay. So, I mean, and generally, we would honor that if it was requested, but maybe in this particular case, they didn't request anything.
And we didn't even think about it at the time,
Okay.
so
Is it a complicated one to try to bill out, or is it pretty straightforward?
it's pretty good on my end. I mean, I feel pretty confident with the parcels that are in there.
Well, this might be an occasion to leave a sleeping dog fly, or lay, or whatever the correct
We can
terminology
count
is. My wife would make sure I knew what the correct terminology was.
But we've been looking at them one by one just to see, is it a problem, do we need to reclassify it?
Sure.
The whole statue needs to be replaced down in Des Moines. Good luck.
So I already seconded the motion, so.
Okay. Did you get that?
Yep.
Okay. Motion's on the table to approve the completion for DD 23. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Approve the final pay estimate for DD-23.
The final pay estimate is essentially the same as the last one, with today's $0 payment to them. It just needed to take place to account for any potential damages that would have come out of the public hearing. So the actual dollar amount of it is 0. There's a retainage amount of 10% that'll be held for a minimum of 30 days after today, assuming everything's approved.
Okay. Entertain a motion to approve the final pay estimate for DD-23.
So moved.
Was that? Motion by Marlin, seconded by Mike, to approve the final pay estimate for DD 2-3. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. thank you, gentlemen.
Sorry we're late.
Like I say, we had plenty of time to,
Yeah, fun stuff.
Like I said, you guys have banked up plenty of time to be late on.
We used 15 minutes today.
Thanks.
We need to get together sometime on recycling.
Okay.
Do you guys want to take a copy of this back to Deidre?
Yeah,
That'd be good.
Thank
I
you.
can do that.
you still have the bins up by your, no?
Is Deidre
No,
still on the
you're-
phone? Do you want to?
Deidre, are you still on the phone?
I'm still here.
Okay, I think we're done then.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Have a good day.
Yeah, thank you.
Do you have any bins across the county like that? Any, no, you don't.
Just a central site.
We have a central site, right next to Kansas.
Too many people using it that shouldn't.
Yeah, plus it was abused.
Yeah.
Fires.
Buffalo Center just voted to take away their dumpsters behind the city building because too many people are dumping TVs,
Yep.
construction stuff, and
Yep.
they're using it. So then they tried to decide whether they're gonna put up a camera to catch her doing it, they decided to just remove the dumpster. So if you miss the garbage trucks, you can take it to the dumpsters and they still.
It's gotten better even as far as.
I burn my stuff. What do you
Yeah,
guys do?
I burn a lot of stuff, but I do recycle.
You do?
Yep.
We've got some bins in our garage for like plastics, aluminum, metal, and then, and then the final stuff that's
Yeah.
underneath the kitchen sink, that goes to the burn, but
I've got a trailer. I throw-
paper, we do paper, a lot of paper recycling.
You do?
We'll pick up
And
my
you-
trailer, I throw all my metal in, including cans.
Recycling center's real handy. I mean, it's real clean and it's, they gave us recycling containers because we did have the curbside for a while, but that was a pain too.
If you'd like to come over and see our
Yeah.
site sometime, you'd certainly be welcome to do it.
We're just paying too much per roll.
Understand?
And it sounds like Hancock's paying more for site.
Yeah. No, you wanna talk about it sometime, so.
We soon
Okay.
not happy either.
See you guys.
Thanks, guys. Mark, you know what it costs?
I don't, this was done before I got on.
Yeah.
Kenny can tell you better than anybody. I think he was on when we built it.
Conservation runs it, right?
No, we have a guy that runs it. It's on conservation ground or they have a shed out there.
Okay, that's what the connection is.
Well,
Yeah, thanks. All right.
Just didn't
Open
know,
forum?
no, I just didn't know if you had number 6 or done or whatever.
We're done.
We're leaving as is, other than our changes today on the salaries.
Okay, because you got my email, right, Carla?
Yeah.
We
Okay,
approved, I don't think it was no less than 3%, was it, on that sheet?
Right.
No less than 3% wages.
okay,
I wanna tell Ruth that.
okay, that's why I came, because I was in the middle of transfer. Okay, all right, so I'll go back, all right, thank you.
Yep.
So we're done, are you done discussing 6?
We're done, but we haven't adjourned yet, so open forum.
No, I just didn't know if you had completed discussion of the budget.
Oh, yes.
So will hers be reflected on that too?
I don't know what our board said.
Yeah, it'll be reflected.
So we're gonna have to look at that then. They put their numbers.
We voted to go along with.
Yep, I'll email it to you.
We voted to go along with what the board recommended for.
Okay. And then you'll add those others that were, just those 2, okay.
Yep.
All right. All right, and I'll get you those other ones in. All right, thank you.
Go on there.
I was going to tell you, Andy brought meat and cheese and crackers. So before you go.
And she can't go home because she's gotta put some line items in.
I've got some stuff to do.
Well, you got the crud too. I thought you had it last week.
Just doesn't go away.
It's, it took me.
I'm still getting over it.
Started out with sore throat, moved into my lungs, and I had a long sore throat. Took me about a month to get rid of it all.
Okay, to be legal, we done? Done.
I think so.
Meeting adjourned.
I just had a few quick questions.